Every time you redeem on your mutual fund app, there is an automatic rule deciding which units get sold. Most investors don't know it exists. And in many cases, it ends up creating the highest tax bill by selling off the most profitable units. We found a way around for the same rule years ago. Last year, when we redeemed 50 lakhs from our mutual funds, we reduced our tax liability by 2.2 lakhs. Let me show you exactly how. Hi, I'm Arpit. Welcome to FinWise. Subscribe to our channel for practical financial planning and tax optimization content. Before we get into the numbers, let me quickly cover two concepts because the whole strategy rests on these. First, FIFO. Whenever you invest in a mutual fund, you buy units at that day's price, NAV, net asset value. Whenever you sell, SEBI requires you to follow FIFO, first in, first out. The units you bought first are redeemed first. Here's why that matters for tax. Because in most cases, the older units were purchased at lower NAV because the markets tend to rise over time. Take our 2017 units bought at 38. Currently, the NAV is 120. That's a significant accumulated gain. So when you redeem without thinking about this, the system typically ends up selling the units with highest gain first. This means higher taxes. Now, folios. A folio is just a separate account number within the same mutual fund. Think of it as a separate bucket. Most people have one folio across their investing life. FIFO then applies across all their units as one big pool. But FIFO applies within each folio independently. So if you have a 2017 folio and a 2023 folio and you choose to redeem the 2023 folio, so FIFO applies there. But units held for a shorter period will generally have a smaller accumulated gain, which means a lower tax, at least for now. The approach is straightforward. Every time you step up a SIP within the same mutual fund, open a new folio. Each year investment sits in its own buckets with its own cost. When you need to redeem, you choose which bucket to open. And that means you decide which gains get triggered. That is how you use FIFO to your advantage. Last year, this came up for us in real life. We needed 50 lakhs from our portfolio. And the folio decision we made years ago ended up mattering a lot than we expected. Here's exactly what happened. Let's see what exactly it looks like in practice using our own numbers. We have been running SIPs since 2017. Whenever we stepped up, we created a separate folio. Here's what it looks like today. Now, the first stage where this structure saves you money in your early investing years. You have started your SIPs, you are building your habit, but life doesn't pause. A wedding, a car, a family emergency. You suddenly need a large chunk of liquidity. And your portfolio is the only place from where it's coming. Last year, we needed to redeem 50 lakh rupees. As per the strategy, we redeemed them from the latest folios, 22, 23 and 24. With the single folio, the system would have redeemed the oldest units first, 2017, 18 and 19, with the highest gains. Here's what the tax difference looks like. We paid 1.7 lakhs instead of 3.9 lakhs, saving 2.2 lakhs out of pocket when we needed liquidity the most. Now, one important thing. This is a deferment, not an elimination. Those 2017 units are still sitting there with a significant accumulated gain. And that bill would come due eventually. In our case, it did not because there is a provision under the Income Tax Act that wiped out our entire deferred liability. By your mid-30s to early 40s, your income has grown higher, you have invested more, and the corpus has grown meaningfully, likely into multiple crores. This is your peak investing stage, and the goal that tends to come up is buying a home. If you want to fund the purchase of your house using your older folios all at once, there is a very smart way. Section 54F of the Income Tax Act says if you sell a long-term capital asset, including equity mutual funds, and use the full net sales proceeds to buy a residential property in India, your capital gains are exempt up to 10 CR. Because their oldest units are sitting in their own folios, you can choose to redeem them for the property purchase. That specific money goes into real estate and the deferred tax liability completely goes away. But there's a stage 3, and this is where people who handled stage 1 and 2 very well tend to lose money quietly over a period of time. In retirement, the FIFO tax impact doesn't hit you once, it hits you every month. And most people don't realize this until they are few years into the SWP. When most people stop working, they need a monthly regular income. Most people set up a systematic withdrawal plan or SWP. With a single folio, your SWP pulls from the oldest units first. Those units carry the highest gains. So, your monthly payouts end up generating significantly higher taxable income right from the start of your retirement, which can push you into a higher tax bracket. This is probably the most common mistake in retirement SWPs. People spend years building a corpus and then they pay out a large portion of it in taxes simply because the folio planning was not thought out early on. With separate folios, you have two different ways of handling this, and one will be better than the other depending on your income. Under Section 112A of the Income Tax Act, your 1.25 lakhs of LTCG every year is tax-free. With separate folios, you can systematically withdraw just enough from your oldest high-gain folios every year to lock in 1.25 lakhs in LTCG, slowly washing away your tax liability. If you need a high monthly income that exceeds your tax-free limits, you can deliberately direct your SWPs to the newest folio first. Because your capital gains on the newest folios is much smaller, your taxable income remains low, protecting your retirement corpus from being eaten away by higher taxes early on. FIFO isn't a problem if you have set up your portfolio correctly. With year-wise folios, you decide which gains get triggered at every stage. Early career need? Pull from the recent folio, leave the older ones. Peak years? Buying a home? Use 54F and clear the deferred liability. Retirement? Run a SWP that keeps your tax liability low throughout. The strategy doesn't change in what you invest in. The real difference is the order. If you want to know exactly how to create separate folios, we have built together a step-by-step guide on our website. Link is in the description. Share this with anyone who is running heavy SIPs. Subscribe for more and we'll see you in the next one.